Y'all, we just gotta keep it real, okay? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Y'all already know what I'm gonna say. Go ahead and press that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's your girl Asa, and today we're gonna be talking about the truth about LA. Now, there's so many videos out there talking about Los Angeles, how to prepare, all of those things, but I feel like there's not that many videos talking about the truth of what LA actually is like living here, because it's one thing to prepare and to pick up your life and to come here, but it's another thing to actually be here and be like, oh snap, like I gotta live here, bro. I gotta live here. Y'all know what I mean? So let's get into it. I have 4 main truths about LA that I feel like a lot of people on YouTube are not talking about. So let's get into point number 1. A lot of people think that when you move to LA, your life is just going to be this like sunny sunshine. Oh my God, there's palm trees, there's everything going on. Like, people think that when you move here, it's just gonna like be such an amazing experience, and it is, but it's not an easy experience. I feel like people just assume when they visit, because they have such a good time and because the weather's always so nice and stuff, they just think it's just gonna be like heaven, and it's not necessarily heaven living here. One thing that eats people up here in Los Angeles is loneliness. I feel like one of those things that people are like, get over it, like you're in LA, there's parties, there's clubs, there's things to do, but like, no y'all, loneliness is real in LA. Most people who are here in Los Angeles moved from miles away from their home. They either don't have family here or they're here by themselves and they're just hustling, right? Even if you know a whole bunch of people here, there is so much traffic that trying to go see your friend on a day-to-day or on a regular is just not really ideal. I mean, gas is almost $5 a gallon, in some places $6 a gallon. You're already tired from just the day-to-day. It's just not ideal to kind of see your friends on an everyday basis. So when you do see them on the weekends, it's kind of like, dang, like I've been out the whole week, I'm tired. For some people don't care, they be out and about. I know from me and my experience and just talking to friends, it's just like the work week can be a lot, and then by the time you get to the weekend, it's just like, dang, like I don't feel like driving, or my social battery is low. It just be a lot going on. So sometimes loneliness can be really like a heavy feeling that a lot of people feel here. It could be because of that. It could be just because people are super far from their family. Coming to Los Angeles is super expensive. So if your family does have the means to come visit you here, it's a blessing. My family, like I have people with health issues, so they can't fly, like they can't be in the air for over 2 hours. It's a 6-hour flight to get here from the East Coast. So I don't really have family who can come visit me here. My cousin did visit me before. I have friends from the East Coast who visit me all the time, but it's different when you're with your family, you know what I mean? So that can be another factor why people get super lonely. And on top of that too, it's just like in Los Angeles, you meet people who are just about work, right? But we don't work 24/7. Sometimes you just want to chill, you just want to be laying low, you just want to hang out with people. You don't want to be hanging out with people who's going to be talking about content all the time or likes and engagement. Sometimes you just want to be chilling, like, and I think that sometimes people wrestle with finding genuine relationships outside of work because people are just so focused here to make it. So people here are just so all about their dreams. So that loneliness really is heavy. Like I feel like if you ask anyone who's lived here, have they felt lonely or have they dealt with loneliness, they would absolutely say yes. Unfortunately, a lot of people, because of that loneliness, deal with depression and suicide. It's a really serious thing. It's not something to take lightly. I would definitely say that if you're planning on moving here, make a plan for how you're going to connect with people and have a balance of, you know, connecting with work friends, connecting with church friends. How are you going to go out of your way to connect with people? One thing people do not consider about LA, because of the traffic and the expenses of living here, you have to go out of your way to stay connected with people. Plan things way in advance. Like I have things on my calendar already booked for June to meet up with people, to hang out with people, just because it's like people just be so busy, it be so much going on, the traffic is insane. So you just kind of have to like prepare in advance and really like go out of your way to hang out with people. I would also say a lot of people can't afford to stay here. So me personally, I've made so many friends while here, and unfortunately like they didn't last staying here for over a year. I'm going on my 4-year anniversary here in Los Angeles, and that's a blessing, but I have friends who weren't able to make it past 4 months. And it's like, dang, you like, you know, you lock in with them, you be having fun with them, they that good friend, they good friends, like they keep you sharp, and then it's like, dang, like they're moving. So it's really sometimes hard to just hold on to friendships and people here because there's so much moving and so much noise. But you definitely, when you live here, you have to go out of your way to stay connected with people, to hang out with people, to drive to them and they drive to you. There's times when sometimes I'm tired from the work week. I don't have the energy to drive, so I'll just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna pay for an Uber. I know it's gonna be expensive. I'm just gonna pay for an Uber because I need to get out and have some fun and be around people. So definitely consider that before moving to LA. The second thing is the energy in LA. Like, first of all, I'm an empath, okay? I feel everything. It's a blessing, and it's also kind of a struggle because you feel everything, okay? I literally will cry at the stoplight if I see homeless people asking for money or saying that they're hungry, just because it's like every single day there's a reminder that there's homelessness. There's people who cannot work. There's people who don't have food. Like, it's like, it could be a lot. It's really hard. The energy here can be very exciting and fun, and I'm gonna chase my dreams and I'm gonna go after what I want. And then the other thing could be like, dang, like people really struggling out here. Like, how can I change the world? It's either going to make you feel like, dang, like sad, or it's just gonna make you wanna work 10 times harder because you wanna be a change in the world so that people, you know, don't have to live like that. At least that's for me. I'm not out here just trying to get clout. Like, I'm not out here trying to just be on television and be in commercials and stuff for me. Like, I'm trying to change the world. I'm trying to feed people. I'm trying to be able to bless somebody with college tuition one day. I'm trying to pay somebody's bills one day. Like, so when I see those things on the day-to-day, it inspires me to keep going, but it also is like very heart-wrenching because you're just like, damn, like that could be me. It makes you so thankful for everything God has done for you. And if you're not careful, like, you will allow that energy to kind of suck you in and just like overwhelm you. Another thing about the energy here is that people are so about their goals, so about their dreams, and that's a good thing, but it is almost sometimes in a toxic way, whereas people will do whatever it takes to get where they need to be or where they want to be, right? So I used to say, I'll do whatever before coming to LA, I will always be like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be successful. Child, that is a lie. I am not going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to do what the Lord tells me to do, okay? I'm not going to be out here doing something I ain't supposed to be doing just to say I made it, baby. No, I'm going to have to take the long way if that's what it's going to cost, okay? People be out here, y'all, like, when I say people will do anything, like, I ain't even going to go there putting people's business out there. People will do anything to succeed, and if you are not careful, if you don't know yourself, if you allow people's competitiveness or envy or jealousy of you, like, to get to you, you will start operating like them. So it's very easy to almost lose yourself here. The energy can be very, I would just say, dog eat dog. And if you're just not careful and you're not around the right people, you can get caught up. Another thing is LA is super busy. When I first came here from the East Coast, I was like, it's calm. Like, I've been in Jersey, I've been in New York. New York is like a city that never sleeps. Like, everybody's just always moving. LA is calm, but y'all, it is also like robust and noisy. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but people be calm here, but also like things be moving fast. And some days you just wake up and you're like, dang, where did the day go? So sometimes it does feel like you can't catch a breath here, that everything's always moving fast, that you're spending most of your time at work, on set, in traffic, cooking. Like, it feels like your day can literally just fly by. So that's why a lot of people here pay for amenities. They pay for a dishwasher so that they don't have to worry about washing dishes, so that they can hang out with friends. They might pay to have amenities at homes because they know that their work is just so heavy that they're not going to have the energy to go out and to chill and relax. So they rather have those amenities at home. Like, so there are like a lot of amenities and things that people kind of tug on, just because like you literally spend so much time here in LA working to keep up with the bills and craziness in LA, or just in traffic, or just out. Like, there's just, it's like nonstop, y'all. So I say that to say, if you are coming from a city like Texas, I got family in Atlanta, Virginia, down south, that's like a lot slower. If you're coming from those type of cities, you really want to consider that, because it's no joke. It's not slow here. It's fast. There are times where people be chilling and relax, but it's go mode, bro. Like, you're gonna be in go mode. Another thing is money. Of course, when people think of LA, they think expensive, right? Like, we all know LA is expensive, but nah, y'all, like, it's on a different level. I think that one of the things why people can be so depressed and lonely and suicidal here, unfortunately, is because of the stressors of finances and money. It's really expensive to find a safe, like, regular place to live. It's almost like you have to pay an arm and a leg just to get something decent in LA. Unfortunately, not everybody in LA can afford to live in a high rise or these apartments that y'all be seeing on TikTok and Instagram. And honestly, an everyday person can afford to live in those spots. So like, you end up living in, like, you know, an area in LA that might not be the safest, or that just might have a lot of stuff going on outside. I've had people follow me home. I've had people knock on my door asking for money because they needed rent. Like, I've been in very, like, I would say unsafe situations that I didn't feel comfortable in. And so you really have to just be mindful that, like, money makes people very desperate in this city, and desperate to the point where, like, they will do whatever. I've had traffickers approach me, women and men. There's people out here who are just very desperate, and so you have to be very mindful of your safety and where you're living. Don't just get an apartment because it's cheap. 9 times out of 10, if it's cheap, it got roaches or it's in an unsafe area. I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. So you really want to just vet people out, ask all of the right questions when you're looking for an apartment or when you're, like, looking in the area. And then too, like, money, like, it's just hard because rent is expensive, gas is expensive, utilities is expensive. Child, I don't even think we pay for water in Jersey, and if we do, it's like super cheap. Out here, I remember seeing a water bill before, and I was like, I know y'all are lying. Like, I like to take baths, but I ain't use that much water, you know what I mean? Like, utilities, everything is just so expensive. That adds a lot of stress to people. It makes people have to work overtime. It makes people have to work multiple jobs, which is a good thing and is a blessing to be able to work multiple jobs, but it can be toxic when you're overextending yourself, when you're overworking yourself, when you come here and you feel like you're just working, you're not living. And a lot of people here are just trying to keep up. Like, one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people who come here for their dreams forget that they first have to get settled and have to learn the economy of the state here. They have to make sure they can keep a roof over their heads before they can actually focus on their dreams and creativity. So I always tell people, when you move here, find a solid job that will help you pay your bills so you can focus on your creativity. Put your money into your business, into your creativity, so that you can also operate and do that. But just make sure that you have something that's going to make sure that you have income to be able to continue to create, to be able to do what you love. Because if you come here and you are just work, you're literally going to hate it. And unfortunately, that is, a lot of us have been here. Many of us have worked so much to stay here and to maintain our groundings here that we sometimes forgot why we came here. So just keep that in mind. Money is a real serious thing here. And speaking about money, I would just say safety. Safety is something that people don't really think of coming here. There's just so much that's always going on in LA. I have friends from South Central, like really from South Central. I have friends that will just kind of give me the scoop like, Asa, don't wear that. Don't do this. Don't go over there. I used to live in South Central and I didn't really know the ropes for real. And there would just be certain things I would do that I kind of learned that I couldn't do, because on the East Coast, it's just normal. But out here, you just gotta be mindful of how you move. Shout out to my dad, because he's shown me a lot as a little girl that's helped me be able to navigate life out here. If you're a woman and you're gonna be living in LA by yourself or with roommates, I absolutely feel like you should get pepper spray, taser, and if you really wanna take it a step further, get a gun. I don't want you to be afraid, but like, I feel like in case of an emergency, you should know what to do. I have been in situations where I was driving somewhere and I've seen like police and helicopters, and there was a shooting one time on my way when I was driving somewhere. Like, it's just craziness out here. So you just want to make sure that you are alert, attentive, that you know how to handle yourself in case a crazy situation comes up. There was one time when I was walking to my car after church and someone followed me and he was trying to like holler at me. By the grace of God, the parking attendant was still there and he was able to kind of like mingle and mix up the situation. But like, I wasn't paying attention because I'm always like, one, I'm leaving church, I wasn't thinking really anything of it, but two, also I'm always in that area, so I figured like I'm good, like, you know. But there's always people watching in LA, and again, because of money and the stress and the pressure of LA, people are very desperate. People will do anything to make it. And to be honest, like if I had kids to feed, I don't know what I would do to feed them, like, but I don't think I would rob anyone or do anything. But like, I understand why people go to the limits of what they do out here. I just wouldn't do it myself, and I don't agree with it. I would never put nobody else in danger just to make sure that I could be good. Like, that's just not me. But that's just to give y'all, paint a little picture. Safety is really real out here. I plan on getting my license soon to carry. I just want to know what to do in case of an emergency. I mean, I already know what to do because my dad, you know, is licensed, and we always have conversations about guns and all of those things. And that's not to be violent and to be fearful or anything, but my dad has like taught me and my sisters and my stepmom, like, you know what to do in case somebody want to act familiar, okay? And to just, you know how to carry yourself, because if it's between you and me, let me stop. Never mind. But don't be afraid. Like, just don't come here trying to play games. Don't come here getting involved in the wrong crowds. Again, be very attentive. Don't get in a car with just anybody. If you're gonna go hang out here, don't be drinking with just anybody. Don't just be, you can't just do what you was doing at home, sis. Like, you really gotta be on your P's and Q's here. You gotta be wise, you gotta ask the right questions, and you gotta stand your ground and have faith and trust that the Lord will protect you. From a spiritual perspective, if you are Christian, or if you're a believer, I know a lot of people, when they hear LA, they think witchcraft, and they're told not to move here because, oh, like, people are crazy and people do this and people do that. I've always known that stuff was real, but it wasn't until I moved here and started seeing things for myself that I was like, oh, okay. Let me get myself together spiritually, you know what I mean? Strongly advise that, like, when you get here, find the church home, vet out the church home, read the reviews, ask questions. When I first came here, I did not join a church home for about the first 6 months to a year. I didn't join a church home. And that was because I wanted to vet out the church homes. The first year, I bounced between about 3 churches. And when I went to those churches, usually if you're new, they ask you to stand up, give them your information, and then they call you and they're like, where are you from? Like, what made you come into our church? Blah, blah, you know, they ask you questions. And when they asked me questions, I was like, I got questions for y'all, okay? Who is the Son of the living God? And if you ain't saying Jesus, then child, you ain't the church for me, okay? And there were actually churches, y'all, that were like really dope churches. I mean, Instagram popping, worship was fire, but they couldn't answer like basic questions of like, you know, do you believe in the Holy Spirit? Do you believe in like speaking in tongues? Like, there was just little things like of the fivefold ministry. No, not little things. There were things within the fivefold ministry that I believe as a believer that churches out here like couldn't even answer to, and for me that was spiritually dangerous. At the time, I had a really great mentor who understood the spiritual side and the spiritual structure of a church that helped me find a church. But it took me time to just kind of find my grounding, to find a church home that fed me spiritually but also made me feel comfortable in a community where people look like me. That also was a really big thing for me. I know that's not a concern for other people, but I'm a firm believer that when you're around other people that look like you feel more comfortable in the space. So I would just highly suggest that if you are coming here and you're a believer and you really want to grow your relationship with God, the time is now. Like, join a church, join the small group, start serving so that you have a reason to get out of your house, to serve, to meet people, and just to stay connected with like-minded people. There are some churches out here that dip and dabble into other stuff that's not of God. So that's why I'm just telling you guys, be very mindful of what churches you're going to. Don't just go because it's popular and it has followers and the worship is dope. Like, really make sure that they're preaching the word of God. Cross-reference everything. If they say a scripture, go make sure that's the actual scripture in the Bible. Being in LA is going to teach you how to really walk out your faith, and it's either going to make you or break you. It's a beautiful journey, but it's not an easy one. So I would just highly encourage you to just get around the right people. Make sure you schedule iPhone dates and FaceTime dates with your friends and your family back at home. One thing that I did not consider when living here or moving here is that when you move to LA, depending on where you're moving from, you are now in a long distance relationship with everyone and everything you know. So there's times when I want to call my dad because it's 8 o'clock here and I've done all my work and got out the shower and I'm chilling and I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, oh, I want to talk to my dad and tell him about my day. It's 11 o'clock back at home. Like, he's in bed. And so I had to learn, like, oh my gosh, I really have to schedule time in my day to call my dad and to call my family and to make sure I stay in touch with them. And sometimes, like, my little cousins and my sisters and stuff, they be up late so I could talk to them at night. But then also my friends be at work when I'm kind of like settling in or waking up, and it's just hard kind of to make time to talk to them. And I remember one time I was just feeling so lonely and so sad. Oh, I'm not gonna get emotional. I remember there's just one time when I really wanted to talk to somebody and I just need someone to talk to, that's it. And everybody was just asleep on the East Coast, you know, and it's not a bad thing. It's just like people weren't available. That's just an example, y'all, of like being in a long distance relationship with your family, your friends can be really tough. It's not easy to just hop on a flight and go back to where you came from because, again, it's expensive. But yeah, I literally now, I've planned my trips to go home. I know, like, when my friends are gonna come visit me. I try to tell them months in advance, like, hey, can you come visit this time? Like, hopefully 2 of my friends from home are gonna be here. One already flight is booked. So, like, You know what I mean? Like I plan things. You definitely have to plan things to stay connected. I just wanted to have that conversation because if you're planning on moving here, I feel like it's necessary to talk about the hard things so that when you get here, it's not extremely hard for you to stay here. You know what I mean? Like I feel like people were telling me the hard things when I moved here to like push fear into me not to come. I wish people would have been like, listen, LA's not X, Y, and Z. LA is this, LA is that. But we trust that you're gonna be able to push through and like stay safe there and chase your dreams. I wish that's kind of how people approached it. So this video isn't to scare you, it's to prepare you so that you know how to navigate the world here, so that you know how to handle certain conversations and situations. I wish I had somebody do that for me. But yeah, so that's it for this video, y'all. I pray that this is a blessing to someone. Please let me know if there's any other videos you guys want to talk about in regards to LA. I did hear somebody wants me to talk about how I found my church home in LA. It was a process and I just gave y'all a little condensed version, but I think I'm gonna make that video for y'all. But yeah, I gotta pray and just prepare on that one. So love y'all, share this video if it blessed you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.